Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of what I hope has become your favorite podcast. It might be my favorite podcast, but I'm a little biased. Radnarok, this is Radnarok, and this is a retrospective episode for one of my favorite cartoon characters. And I say that as if I don't have a fairly lengthy list of favorite characters, but this particular character holds a special place in my heart. Very near to being a Disney character. I don't actually know how near to be a Disney character this little fella became. Could be making that up, but we're about to find out, honestly. I say that because his creator was, and you know, depending on how you feel about the afterlife, very well may still be a near and dear friend, partner, collaborator, sidekick. I don't know. Does the term sidekick demean a person? Does it lessen their value? You know what I mean? Robin is not as valuable as Batman. I'm going to throw that out there. Bucky, however, may be just as valuable as Steve Rogers. But that's a debate for a different time. We're not talking about them. We're not talking about Marvel characters. We are talking about iWorks' own Flip the Frog. Now, I stumbled across Flip the Frog in my ongoing passion project and quest to provide my questionable commentary to as many old cartoons that I can find. And in my research, I came across Flip. And man, let me tell you, from the moment this little frog came into my life, it's really just, it's opened my mind to some endless possibilities, really. You know, this well of classic cartoons runs really deep. And there are some characters in there that you know, time didn't forget because time may have never noticed they existed. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just mean that, you know, there's so many out there, and so few broke into the mainstream. I don't know a whole bunch about Flip the Frog. What I do know is that he was created by iWorks, and he has a fairly lengthy catalog of animated shorts. So let's do this. Let's dive headfirst into everything we didn't know we wanted to know about Flip the Frog. Flip the Frog is an animated cartoon character created by American animator iWorks, the genius iWorks. He starred in a series of cartoons produced by Celebrity Pictures and distributed by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, from 1930 to 1933. The series had many reoccurring characters besides Flip, including Flip's dog, the mule Orace, O-R-A-C-E, Orace, right? The mule named Orace. Orace is new to me. I'm not sure who that is. Never heard that name. Probably have seen this character in some of these Flip shorts that I've done commentaries for, but didn't know he had a name. And Dizzy Neighborhood Spinster. I wonder if Dizzy Neighborhood Spinster is that like classic iWorks old lady character. She often plays like a teacher or I guess a spinster, you know, always wild about love. She makes a number of appearances across the Flip the Frog cartoon series, I guess. And she also appears in another little bit that iWorks produced called Comicolor cartoons, which are cartoons that are based upon, fairy tales in a way, I guess. Would you call them fairy tales? Like Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, The Headless Horseman, Aladdin, I think Little Boy Blue. There's a cartoon about him. There is, I am really blanking right now, but you can find those. I've done a bunch of classic cartoon commentaries for the Comicolor cartoon series as well. So if you want to go find out, that's another one. That's another retrospective we'll do one day, but not right now. Right now it's about Flip. So anyway, the history of Flip the Frog. Flip was created by iWorks. Sorry, I couldn't avoid that. Let me start over. My bad. I really feel bad about how often I have to clear my throat, but I don't know. It's just who I am, I guess. I'm getting old. The older I get, the more I got to clear my throat when I'm speaking. It reminds me of my avoo, my grandfather. Anyway, history of Flip. Flip was created by iWorks, animator for the Walt Disney Studios and a personal friend of Walt Disney in 1933 at iWorks Studios. After a series of disputes between the two, iWorks left Disney and went on to accept an offer from Pat Powers to open a cartoon studio of his own and receive a salary of $300 a week. Wow. Could you imagine living on a salary of $300 a week in this day and age? An offer that Disney was unable to match at the time. Bummer. iWorks was to produce new cartoons under Powers Celebrity Pictures, auspicious and distributed by Metro Golden Mayer. I feel like that was kind of redundant to do again. The first series he was to produce was to feature a character called Tony the Frog. Terrible name. But iWorks disliked the name, and it was subsequently changed to Flip. Flip the Frog sounds much better than Tony the Frog. Alliteration is key, right? Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Daisy Duck, Minnie Mouse, right? Flip the Frog, Peter Parker, Tony. Oh, no, Tony Stark doesn't work. Sorry, my bad. Bruce Banner. See, I was going to pick it back up. All right, so anyway, yeah, Flip the Frog, much, much better name than Tony the Frog. Tony the Tiger, right? That fits so much more. So much more. Better. So much better. So much more better. Whoa. Sorry. I've had too much coffee today. Can you tell? And I'm jazzed. I'm jazzed about Flip. I really like Flip. iWorks planned to release the series in both color and black and white versions through Celebrity Productions, Inc. The series attracted public attention in England by being the first color sound cartoon series in the two-color British multicolor system. These shorts were exhibited in England in color, but not in the United States where they were made. That's pretty fascinating. I wonder why. Was it because Disney kind of like ran the gamut on Technicolor? Maybe. Or I'm just making that up. After 4 shorts had been produced, Fiddlesticks, Flying Fists, Little Orphan Willy, and Puddle Pranks, all of which you can find as part of my classic cartoon commentary series. Just go and click the Flip the Frog playlist, and you'll find those there. So after those 4 shorts were produced, MGM officially picked up the series. They agreed to exhibit Fiddlesticks and Flying Fists. Little Orphan Willy and Puddle Pranks were never copywritten and remain in the public domain. MGM decided to produce the series entirely in black and white, releasing the ones produced in color in black and white versions only. So MGM was like, we know that there are color versions of these shorts, but we're still going to put them out in black and white. What an interesting choice for the time. Wouldn't you naturally want to, like, since color was, you know, the new, like, the technological advancement in cartoon and animation, wouldn't you naturally want to be like, yeah. And plus, if they already existed too, like they're already done in color, why not use those? Why go back and put them out in black and white? There's probably some financial aspect to all this that I'm just very unaware of, but I mean, if the ability to put them out in color was there, I really feel like maybe that would have been the best course of action. But what do I know? I'm just a talker. I don't know anything about business or animation and the finances behind it. Anyway, let's see. Some have speculated that Technocracked from 1933, another short that I have part of my classic cartoon commentary series, may have been photographed in Cinecolor. Well, that's an interesting speculation. The Cinecolor process was a new two-color process that came out in 1932, the year that Technicolor began phasing out its two-color system in favor of their new three-strip process. iWorks would go on to make extensive use of Cinecolor with his Comicolor cartoon series. Yeah, the Comicolor cartoons, kind of in the name, they're all in color. So, fascinating. iWorks Studio quickly began accumulating new talent, such as animators Fred Kopietz, Kopietz. You tell me how to say that. Irv Spence, Grim Natwick, that's a name we recognize, and Chuck Jones, what a name, who worked at the iWorks studio as a cell washer before going on to in-betweening and then animating at the Leon Slicer studio. What does in-betweening mean? So Chuck Jones worked at the iWorks studio as a cell washer before going on to in-betweening and then animating at the Leon Slicer studio. Huh. I'm really curious what in-betweening is. Did that mean he was like washing cells and animating? Like going in between those two jobs? Don't know. Don't know. After the first two cartoons, the appearance of Flip the Frog gradually became less frog-like. That's true. He started out very froggish and then later became just kind of like an odd-looking little boy. This was done under the encouragement of MGM, who thought that the series would sell better if the character were more humanized. Flip's major redesign is attributed to Grim Natwick, who made a name for himself at Fleischer Studios with the creation of Betty Boop. There we go. That's where we know that name, Grim Natwick. Grim Natwick is a great name, too. Grim Natwick. Sounds like a name from Harry Potter, right? Natwick also had a hand in changing Flip's girlfriend. Huh. In earlier films, she was consistently a cat, but Natwick made Flip's new girlfriend, Fifi, a human who shared distinct similarities with Betty, even down to her spit curls. Yeah, Flip's girlfriend, Fifi, is the very Betty Boopy. And I don't know why I stuttered on the very. It just, it adds to the oomph of how very Betty Boopy she looked. And if you have not said Betty Boopy out loud, give it a shot. Give it a shot right now. Just out loud, no matter where you are. If you're in, like a ride share or a bus, a train, a subway, at church, wherever you might be listening to this, just out loud right now, say Betty Boopy. And tell me that wasn't the best half a second of your life. The frogs, come on. We call him Flip this entire time, and now you're going to start this paragraph with the frogs. I'm going to say Flips. How about that? He has a name. Flip's personality also began to develop. As the series progressed, Flip became more of a down-and-out, Chaplin-esque character who always found himself in everyday conflicts surrounding the poverty-stricken atmosphere of the Great Depression. See? Flip had his finger on the pulse. Owing to the influx of New York City animators to iWorks studios such as Natwick, the shorts became increasingly risque. In Room Runners from 1932, Flip, out of cash and luck, attempts to sneak out of his hotel in order to avoid paying his past due rent. That's risque? I mean, maybe I don't know what the word risque encompasses, but when I think risque, skipping out on rent, I'm not sure really fits that description or definition in my mind. But again, I'm often wrong about things. Another gag has Flip watch a girl taking a shower through a keyhole. Yeah, that is much more along the lines of risque that, fits my understanding of the word. In The Office Boy, released the same year, Flip tries to secure a low-level office job and meets a shapely secretary. Oh, I wonder if that was Fifi. At one point in the short, a mischievous mouse that Flip tries to apprehend scoots up the secretary's skirt. Yee. In A Chinaman's Chance from 1933, Flip and his dog track down the notorious Chinese criminal Chow Mein. That's, not exactly something that we would do in this day and age. But, again, product of its time is what it is. While investigating in a Chinese laundromat, Flip stumbles into an opium den, inhales the stuff via opium pipe, and begins hallucinating. Now, I don't believe I've provided commentary for that particular short. There's still a number of Flip cartoons I need to get to. When a cartoon though has a fairly, clearly and conventionally, by today's standards, offensive name, I feel a little hesitant to throw it out there because a lot of people don't get that this was a product. Again, I say this a lot. It was a product of its time. Be mad at 1933, okay? Don't be mad at Flip. Don't be mad at Ub. Don't be mad at the cartoon. Just actually don't be mad. Be glad that however many decades upon decades upon decades later, we have come a long way. In a very seemingly short amount of time. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it, 300 years ago is basically 3 people ago. If you're going to gauge the average human lifespan to nearly 100 years, nearly 300 years ago is just 3 people. Isn't that wild to think about? So let's just say 1933, that's roughly 1 to 2 people ago. So 1 to 2 people ago, they were still making cartoons with titles like A Chinaman's Chance. 1 to 2 people later, it's not happening anymore. Not happening anymore on a mainstream level. I can't really say, what independent productions are allowing, but, mainstream today, you're not going to see that kind of thing. Although I would like to see this short because Flip apparently smokes opium and begins tripping out. So yeah, that still sounds like a good time from a viewing standpoint. Anyway, the character eventually wore out his welcome at MGM. Well, you know, it happens. His final short was Soda Squirt, which I have provided classic cartoon commentary for, and you can find that on my Flip the Frog playlist. Released in August 1933. Subsequently, Iwerks replaced the series with a new one starring an imaginative liar named Willy Wopper. Another one of my most treasured cartoon characters. Did that even make sense? You know what I mean. Willy Wopper. We'll be doing a classic cartoon commentary, or not. Well, I do classic cartoon commentaries for Willy Wopper shorts, but we'll also get around to doing a retrospective for Willy Wopper eventually as well. Those are really fun shorts, and a really fun and interesting thing about Willy Wopper is his design drastically changed early on in his I don't know, timeline of being produced. Anyway, that's for another time. We're talking about Flip, and Flip became largely forgotten by the public in the ensuing years. However, the character would make a small comeback when animation enthusiasts, I guess like me, and historians began digging up the old Iwerks shorts. I'm going to count myself in that group. All of the Flip cartoons are now available in the 2004 Region 2 Flip the Frog DVD set released by MK2 Lobster in France. Most are available in Region 1, in particular on the Cartoons That Time Forgot series. I don't know what these MK2 and Region 1 and Region 2, I don't know what any of those things mean. But, long story short, you can find Flip the Frog cartoons if you want to dig them up. You can find them on my website, leallegacy.com, under the Legacy TV tab, Classic Cartoon Commentary, or maybe it's just Cartoon Commentaries. I think it's just Cartoon Commentaries. And there's a Flip the Frog page with all of his shorts. Now, my questionable commentary is over those particular cartoons, but if you don't like hearing me rant and rave over the cartoon itself, you can still dig them up untampered with elsewhere. So anyway, the Flip the Frog character is owned by the Iwerks estate. However, the cartoons are not in the public domain. Most of them had their copyrights renewed and are now owned by Film Preservation Associates. So good on you, Film Preservation Associates. You did a good thing by keeping Flip alive. Flip the Frog Annual. In 1932, a Flip the Frog Annual was issued in England by Dean and Son, LDT Limited. Is that what that LTD? Let me see that. My dyslexia kicked in. I almost did it. I almost made it through without having a little dyslexic slip, but LTD got me. Let's start over. In 1932, a Flip the Frog Annual was issued in England by Dean and Son Limited, published by hold on. This is a new sentence, by the way. Published by Exclusive Arrangements with Iwerks, the originator of the film character Flip the Frog. So some sort of deal was struck with UB back then to put out a Flip the Frog Annual. Interesting. It was drawn by Wilfred Houghton, Haughton. You tell me how that's pronounced. So Wilfred Houghton, who also drew the early Mickey Mouse annuals for Dean's. The annual only ran for one edition based on Flip's ending in 1933 and the lack of success with it. So when the Flip the Frog cartoon ended in 1933, so did his annual. And by annual, for you non-comic book folk out there, it's a comic. It's a comic. So there was a Flip the Frog comic, and I would very much like to find a copy of that if I can. And it's really neat that the same animator, or the same illustrator, I guess you would say in this case, Wilfred Houghton, he did Flip, and he did he drew Mickey Mouse. See, there's a lot of Disney duality here. That's not the right word, but I like the alliteration. Sweet. But apparently it was unsuccessful. So if it was unsuccessful, that may mean that there's not a lot of copies out there. So that collector piece may be a little highly priced. The earlier, more frog-like character was used rather than the later version. Okay, so in the annual, it's his more froggy form and less humanized form. That's interesting. The book contains 11 full cartoon strip stories, 4 color plates, and other one-page items that are not derived from any of his cartoons. Oh, so there's some original content in there. All the adventures take place outside, unlike the cartoons, and feature additional characters including a fox, a policeman, a girlfriend named Flap the Frog, Flip the Frog and Flap the Frog, an Uncle Flop. Awesome. Mentioned only, so there's no physical flop, only a mentioned flop. And others not shown in the cartoon films. Oh, you got and others. Anyhow, Flip's Uncle Flop and his girlfriend Flap. Man, that's a lot of fun. That's almost fun as Betty Boopy. When I do the retrospective for Betty Boop, you know how many times I'm going to say Betty Boopy, Betty Boopy. The Flip the Frog filmography in 1930, we got Fiddlesticks, Flying Fists, The Village Barber, Little Orphan Willie, The Cuckoo Murder Case, and Puddle Pranks. All of which you can find commentary for on leallegacy.com. 1931, we got The Village Smitty, The Soup Song, Laughing Gas, Ragtime Romeo, The New Car, Movie Mad, The Village Specialist, Jailbirds, Africa Squeaks, and Spooks. Spooks is a really fun one. Spooks might actually be one of my favorite Flip the Frog shorts because it has a lot of skeletons. And you know me, I like skeletons. 1932 gave us The Milkman, Fire Fire, What a Life, Puppy Love, School Days, The Bully, The Office Boy, Room Runners, Stormy Seas, Circus, The Gold Rush, The Pony Express, The Music Lesson, Nursemaid, and Funny Face. I believe all of which you can find, again, that's right, in my classic cartoon commentaries. 1933, we got Cuckoo the Magician, which, oddly enough, cuckoo is not spelled the same way as it is in The Cuckoo Murder Case. The Cuckoo Murder Case is Cuckoo, or is that cuckoo? Cuckoo? The Cuckoo Murder Case. That might actually be it. And then we got cuckoo down here. Okay, anyway. 1933. Cuckoo the Magician, Flip's Lunchroom, Technocracked, Bull Oni, A Chinaman's Chance, Paleface, and Soda Squirt. You know what? After reading all of these, I think A Chinaman's Chance is the only one that I haven't done yet. So maybe I should do it. Even though it has a problematic title, maybe I should still do it just because it'll complete the Flip the Frog anthology. Something to consider. Would you guys be mad if I did that? Not that I'm super worried about people being mad at me, but, you know, I like to think we're friends. Home media. All of Flip's cartoons were compiled on the French MK2 Lobster Films. Yeah, okay, we know. The 2004 2-disc DVD set Flip the Frog. 27 of Flip's cartoons are included in the 2 DVD collections. Cartoons That Time Forgot, the Ub Iwerks Collection, Volume 1 and 2. Another early Flip short, Little Orphan Willy, while not included on either of those DVDs, is included on the DVD collection Return of the 30s Characters. From Thunderbean. Thunderbean Animation. What a name, Thunderbean. That sounds like a bad wrestler. A complete Blu-ray set of restored Flip the Frog cartoons is in production from Thunderbean Animation. The set itself is planned to release sometime in spring 2022. So that's out there for you if you want it. Depending on when you listen to this. So it's either coming or it's already out. You do your own research. In popular culture, a clip of the character dancing from Fiddlesticks, so a clip of Flip dancing from his short Fiddlesticks, is featured on a television set in the music video for Eminem's song The Real Slim Shady, which the viewer laughs at. That's wow. So in, I guess, arguably Eminem's, was that like his, oh wait, no. His debut song was the My Name Is. Okay, so The Real Slim Shady is actually like further into his career, where he already has some popularity, which is even better for Flip. So if you watch the music video for The Real Slim Shady, you can see Flip on the frog. It's from Fiddlesticks, so Flip will have his more frog-like form and less humanoid version. Which the humanoid version of Flip is still pretty good. I mean, it's not unsettling or uncomfortable in any way. I like it. Cool. So we got references, further reading, external links, and that really kind of brings us to the end of everything there is to know, or everything there is to know about Flip, completing everything we didn't know we wanted to know about Flip the Frog. Now, that's the thing about some of these lesser known animated characters. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, that retrospective episode was a little more lengthy because Oswald has such a rich history. I mean, highly due in part from being a Disney character. He didn't start out as a Disney character. He did start as a character made by Disney and Ub Iwerks. So I don't feel odd speaking about Oswald in another character's retrospective, because essentially when you break it down, Flip, Mickey, Oswald, they're all related. They all have, a shared parent, if you will. They're all half brothers, maybe. That makes sense, right? Yeah. So hopefully that was as fascinating for you as it was for me. I know this is a conventionally shorter episode than others, but you know what? That's bound to happen with these classic cartoon characters. Yeah, but Flip the Frog, check them out if you haven't. Of course, I'm going to encourage you to go and scope out my classic cartoon character, or classic cartoon commentaries for Flip the Frog and more. But if you have it within you, I also recommend watching the cartoons without my commentary, because that might, be just as fun. Can't be more fun, because I like to think I'm funny, but I don't know. Maybe you disagree. But if you disagree, what are you doing here? You just like the sound of my voice. You like the information I provide, but you don't think I'm that funny. It's okay. That was a little spirally moment for me. Anyhow. Hey, LealLegacy.com. I know I mentioned it a couple times. You can find all the classic cartoon commentaries at LealLegacy.com, but you can find so much more there as well, including my Vloggentary series, where I'm not a vlogger, but I am a talker, and I like to shoot. So collect footage from real life, and then I provide a commentary over it. I got a bunch of Disney park ride-alongs where I provide commentary while We ride together through some of your favorite and my favorite Disney rides at the Disney parks. And then I have the ride-throughs as well. So if you don't want to hear my commentary, I provide non-commented on, commented upon versions of all those Disney rides as well. That's somewhat of a newer thing, so that's why I'm kind of pitching it here. Also, on our website, or you can go to skeletoncrewbrand.com if you decide to take a different route. But either way, our shop, our store, our Skeleton Crew store, that is the best way one can support what we do here at Leal Legacy. Shop our store, scope out all the streetwear, apparel, and other merchandise featuring our Crew skull, little signet. It is the symbol, an official logo of the Leal Legacy. So join us, won't you, and become a member of our Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew. Remember how I mentioned spooks earlier? That Flip the Frog short? All the skeletons. Man, if you put skeletons in something, I'm pretty sold. I'm pretty sold on it. Leal Legacy across all your favorite social media platforms. And if you haven't already, why not subscribe, rate, leave a review on your favorite or, whatever podcast platform you use, or all of them. Go to all of them. Go to all of them and leave a rating and a review. That'll help. That is really the best way to help other people discover the podcast and join in on all the fun with us. So if you haven't noticed, I'm kind of rambling because I'm really uncomfortable putting out a podcast that's less than an hour, but that's bound to happen. That's bound to happen. And again, that's bound to happen with these lesser known cartoon characters. Speaking of fiddlesticks, though, back to that Eminem video, in fiddlesticks, I believe that's where I coined the term a not Mickey Mouse. If you watch the classic cartoon commentaries, I say the term not Mickey Mouse a lot whenever there is a mouse on the screen that is clearly derived from Mickey Mouse, but it's not Mickey Mouse. But come on. Especially the design of Mickey at the time. In Fiddlesticks, there is a somewhat not Mickey Mouse. The face is a little different, but he's got the red shorts, the white gloves. You know. And being that there was a time where Ub and Walt weren't necessarily partners or pals anymore for a time, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the direct history between the two, but Ub did leave Disney for a time, and yeah, I can't imagine there wasn't a little bit of shade being thrown at the current Disney projects at the time, and what better target than to target Mickey Mouse, right? Anyway, it's not like he did anything offensive to the not Mickey Mouse, but it's just to me it seems suspiciously not convenient, but you're not sneaking that by me. Anyhow, I will also be doing retrospectives on both Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks. So we may be getting more information on Flip and Oswald on those episodes as well. So keep a lookout for those, or depending on when you hear this, they might already be out. Whatever it may be, listen when you can. Share it with your friends. And yeah, I'm just going to stop rambling now. I don't feel like it's adding anything to this episode. So I will close on check out Flip. And hopefully you love Flip the Frog as much as I do. So until next time, my friends, thank you for being a friend and telling a friend about this here podcast. And I will catch you next time. Later.